Well, they've seen and heard me, that I'm here, and that's it. Now they run away. Fire! Bakhmut Nastia, Stanko journalist. We are in Bakhmut. As you can see, it is snowing.
Ми в Бахмуті, падає, бачите, сніг.
Now, it is quieter here because of such weather. It's difficult to work with drones, as well as with artillery. And we are now in the Omega National Guard unit, which works with these drones, adjusts artillery and drops bombs on the heads of Russians. Inscription, Give death to the Russians, see. Do you hear that, Michael? I do. And what was that just now? Those were mortars. It's one of the locals dusting the carpet. Here it is insignificant, but there it turns out the whole block. Is this the part of town they plan to go into today? Yes, in order to cut off the military forces that are here. Was it taken from our people or by our people? From our guys. So far there are a couple of fagotis walking around, as far as I have noticed. Now I'm waiting for a group of fagotis to come in from the woods with their backpacks. As soon as they come in, I'll let you know. And we will get the broadcast up and hitting on them. In the meantime, I'm waiting for these fucking bitches. I have never heard fagotis before. He speaks with such love. Everyone has their own funny way of calling Russians. Well, that's what they call us, too, judging by the intercepts. They took over it from us. They steal everything. Yes, they do. Direct me, please. From our crossroads, which we were shooting over. Oop, the fag of the year. There he is, the blockhead. There he is, running. Maybe he heard it. Fuck if I know. Maybe 250. But wait, no. No. Look where he ran. Zoom in. It's okay, buddy. It's okay. He went into this house. With his callus. Yes. He did not hear In short, look what needs to be done. We need to shoot through this point here, and then follow that line. You can even include that intersection, or closer here. Alexander Zalizniak, aerial reconnaissance man. In short, the logic is, if we hit someone here, and there's an evacuation like it was yesterday, so we can fuck them up. You got it? Yes. Am I right that you are now working in the area of the airplane? No. On the contrary, in the north. In short, do you work by sector, and it does not matter which division it is. Anton, aerial reconnaissance man, we have our area of responsibility, and we work within it. I can tell you even more, when some tank is going by. There are a lot of people who want to hit it first. So yes, it happens that 2 or 3 guns are aimed at one tank, mortars and artillery. That's it. Before the snow fell, you could see how some places were covered with bodies. For example, where the private sector is. Here, where do you work? Yes. And there's a Santa heavy mortar system over there. Look. Oh, the wheel drive. This is the wheel drive of the mortar. We got this. Wait. I'm going to fly around. No, I mean, it is confirmed that there's a mortar firing position. Minus 120. Kulyev, commander of a mortar battery, Voron. Combat calculation to the Santa position. And wait for one short lead from me. We'll work with active-reactive mine. Kulyev. I'm Voron, over. Is there an internet connection? Voron. Okay, I'm off to where the internet is. The site -4. To the right 15. 4 to the right 15. Cut it. Cut it. Site 539. 539. Set it, yes. 15. 242. Zenit, you badass, you'll be the first one in the shot. That's obvious, they chose the most beautiful one. As usual. You'll probably get a medal. Just give me a diploma, fuck the medal. Did you hear that? He wants a fucking diploma. I already have a medal, but I don't have a diploma. I haven't been given any diplomas yet. Done. Charge. Subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications so you don't miss new videos. Fire. Once again. 10 to the right, 10. 10 to the right, 10. Copy that. Then 542. To the right, 10. We'll take a picture of you, so you can tell your grandchildren later. Look for me somewhere over there at 15 minutes. On Chromax television. The reporter came and probably thought, where the fuck did I come to? I hope they don't fucking kill me. When is the demobilization promised? I don't know. Ask journalists, they'll know more. Damn, I want to go home. The second on the command. Cut it. The mine is already in the fucking barrel. Tell them that the mine is already in the barrel, so we're going to shoot anyway. It does not give anymore. Yet nobody cares about that anymore. Bakhmut is ours. We will not give it up. We are fighting. Everyone is in a fighting mood, so... Macro Mortar Team Commander, we are holding on, waiting for the rotation. And where were you before that? Before that, we were in the Kharkiv region, holding defense on the border. Hold on. An incoming shell. All the time we were in the Kharkiv region. We stood both in the city and outside the city. Then we were fighting in the Zolokiv direction. We were in Kachka and Hoptivka. Then we came here. They are already looking for us. Okay, let's all get down to the basement quickly. We are not going to take any risks. The Russians don't fucking end. Shrapnel hitting the roofs. Of course, we will not take them out. There is nothing to shoot down. Well, first they hit too far, then too close. Are you sure our face value hasn't changed? And without the cap? That's right, yes. Do you work day and night? Yes, we do. Warrant a mortar platoon commander. At night, when the fighting starts, we are given coordinates and shoot at them. Then we make adjustments accordingly. Under better circumstances, we have drones and thermal imagers that we can use. Something like that. Well, you never know when you'll have to work. So you are ready 24/7. Yes, we are always on duty, changing, working out. But it is also the other way around. For example, we were firing at them. We assumed that they had noticed us and were shooting at us the same way. So are we. Our birds are now flying around and looking at where they were shooting from. Accordingly, I would not be surprised if they give us the coordinates now, and we would answer them. By the way, do they shoot down your Mavic with anti-drone guns? Of course, of course. If you have little experience, it is very easy to lose a drone. If you have a lot of experience, it is just easy to lose a drone. How many birds have you lost? In the 2 months we have been working in Bakhmut, we have already lost about 20 birds. No way, this is only in Bakhmut. Now imagine how many such units there are in Bakhmut alone. And how many are there in general throughout Ukraine. And how many drones are lost every day. So we will have fields dotted with drones that will sprout after the war. Yesterday we lost one, the day before that. It's all because of electronic warfare, too, and also shooting down. It is simply better to trade a bird than a human life. You can buy equipment, but you can't bring back a person. And often, all of our combat missions that we have flown with the Mavic have saved lives. I'll explain. You see, what the Russians are doing, they call it reconnaissance by combat, is the loss of personnel. They don't take this into account. And as Valery Marcus said very cleverly, a small Soviet army will never defeat a large Soviet army. That's why we need to do things differently. Of course, their human potential is much greater than ours, and they can afford it. We can't. That's why we need quadcopters. We need quadcopters. In fact, we repelled 2 assaults with drones only. When there are 14 orcs, derogatory term for Russians, you subtract 7 of them with 3 departures. 200 military slang for Kir and 4 to 5,300 military slang for wounded, and they retreat. Are you adjusting the artillery or are you throwing VOG type of ammunition? No, it is not a VOG, it is an improvised explosive device. It's 5 times more powerful than a VOG. Alexei, commander of an anti-tank platoon, our guys fought between Toretsk and Plishchivka. So they destroyed the whole company, because they did not work there, and they were just bombed. Nikita, for how long they bombed them? 3 hours. They bombed them for 3 hours from 2 quadcopters. If there had been 4 copters, it would have been even more. They killed a lot of people, they destroyed the evacuation, and blew up the ammunition depot. Well, they did not work, they just hit them from the air, and that's it. Without mortar, without artillery, anything. Look, this one is firing, this one is loading ammunition, and this one is loading too. This one saw that he was being shot at by a drone. It will be seen now. And then there was an explosion. And then these 2 were the 200 military slang for Kir, these 2 were the 300 military slang for wounded. This one seems to be dying. Sanya, restart. Yeah, restart. And also there are these high explosive and tank ones. It pierces 57 millimeters of steel. We tested it at the range. It pierces almost 6 centimeters of steel. That is, if you hit the roof of a tank, it will pierce it. But the tank has some... Anyway, we are not going to take on the tank. All the others, lightly armored, they can be penetrated completely to the ground. Ready, charge. Fire. There are only infantry on this part of the front now. And there are a lot of them. Yes, they keep coming, we shoot at them. They come out, carry the wounded. We see everything, film it, and then they come again. Although in small groups of 5 to 6 people, but they keep coming. Fire. 5 months of conscript service, almost 2 years of contract. Well, you prepared a little bit. So what did I prepare for? For February 24th, to go to the store for water. He was standing at a roadblock there. Yes, we were standing at a roadblock there. We were standing at a roadblock in the Luhansk region, near Stanitsia Luhansk. Well, our closest point to enemy was on the 3rd shooting range. It was a kilometer away from Ushkivka, a Russian-controlled village. There was no combats there. We were standing on a hill, and across the river there was a village. We watched old ladies riding bicycles. Before the war, that's all. That was all the combats. For me, combats were, good afternoon, where are you going? Yes, most of us were contract soldiers. There were some conscripts, but they were taken away, and some mobilized. Why there are more? We have more mobilized people now. Well, now, yes, for this period there are more mobilized people. The number of contract soldiers has also decreased a bit. I don't know where they partially went. I was mobilized from the very first days, from the 24th of January. Before that, I also fought in 2015. Just like at work, right? I started smoking on February 24 last year. For the first time. Maxim mortar crew member. No, I had not smoked for 5 years before that, and on the first day, when it all happened, we were all gathered in the military unit, and my friend and I went up to the top floor and smoked. Before the war, I had not smoked for 5 years, because I was very nervous. Where were you on February 24? In Kharkiv. In Kharkiv, we were defending Kharkiv at the time. We were standing in the Piatkivki neighborhood. +1, check 2, got it. That's when we met them.
Подарков. Подарунки.
In Kharkiv, at least the people, they were more or less pro-Ukrainian, but here they are pro-Russian, so it was much harder because of that. Fire. Invasion mortar crew member, that's how we met them on the first day on the Kharkiv ring road. I just happened to be standing at post watching the road, and just then their convoy was starting to drive towards us. What is the distance of this shooting? About 2 kilometers or less. Yes, 2 to 2.5 kilometers to the front, something like that. All guys are experienced. Site +7. Xenia 5 to 49. Lunch. We have been served voluntary since the first day of the war. Well, we came here on February 24. But you decided to join the National Guard. At that time, we did not think about the National Guard or the territorial defense. We just came with a friend to the military commissariat. Well, we went to the military commissariat, yes. And then my friend called me and said that while I was at the military commissariat, the National Guard was recruiting. Okay, wherever we get our weapons sooner, we will go there. And that's how it turned out. What did you do for a living, Anton? I was a construction worker before the war. And you? I had a strawberry farm near Kharkiv. We grew strawberries. Yes. By the way, we are brothers with Alexander. Yeah, we are. And you look alike. And we were really confused. Sometimes they would say something to Anton, but think they said to me. And I did not know about it later, and this led to some funny situations. What is your age difference? 2 years. Who's older of you? 8. How old are you, if it is not a secret? 32. And you're 30. Well, yes, I am. And you know how to count. And you two are mortar crew members. Yes, we are. Fire. Fenian, do you work with the 60 by calculation? Strictly with calculatoins. And don't have shortfalls. Sometimes. What kind of charge? Well, I have already realized that on any charge. Now, on the third charge, I finally saw that the shortfall was 300 meters at a distance of 2.5. I corrected it by 100 divisions, and it flew to the right street. At one time, it was Mariupol. It gave us time. Time, yes, to prepare. For everyone else. Similarly, now Bakhmut is taking the brunt of the attack, so that everyone else can prepare. That is, Bakhmut is like Mariupol now. At the far edge of the forest, they have a stronghold, at least a platoon one. There are about 5 to 6 dugouts there. We have been controlling this point for the 4th day, working on it a little bit every day, but they are not leaving it yet. They bring personnel, ammunition, or provisions there. That is, they are at a distance of 1.5 kilometers from the front line. And it is a more or less safe place for them as a gathering point. They bring in assault groups. There, they sit there for a while, some hours, half the night, and then move out to storm. Look, this is the thing that creates interference for the drone here. It is... Got it. What do we call it? We don't know the brand. Let's call it Python for now. There's more.
Хорошо, назовем пока питон.
All right, let's call it Python for now. We are aiming at -0.5, left 2. The drones are recharging, so we are waiting for the command and prepare another mine to repeat. Is it hard to learn? No, it is not difficult. I'm an artillery serviceman myself. We arrived in Bakhmut, and it turned out that we had only one gunner, and we had to get trained. Well, it was the hardest for 3 to 4 days. Then it just gets easier with practice, with the number of hits. Fire! It's been a year now. What are your impressions of the war? This is how you imagined it. What are your impressions? +1 to check. Got it. What are my impressions? I imagine something more, as they say, a romantic of it all. Well, I did not realize how much it was. Plus, first I hoped, and everyone hoped, that it would not last very long. That it would last a couple of months at most, as Orestovic said, 2 or 3 weeks. But no. You just don't count how long it will take to end, when it will end. It'll be over when it is over. 5 to 25, 2 to 60, 5 to 25, 2 to 60 angle finder. Fire. The aerial reconnaissance is working. They will give us adjusting. If we hit, they will prove to repeat the shot. If not, we will correct and continue shooting. Fire. Take your time. We have 2 more. As long as we have 1, we don't need it. Throw it in. Fire. I want to say greetings to my family. Hello. Yeah, to say hello. I would like to tell my wife and daughter that I love and miss them very much. I will definitely come and see them. I love you very, very, very much, my family. Fire! Our drones are expendable. Unfortunately, it happens that we fly right into the trenches of assholes. But while we are flying, our infantry, our people, see the drone hovering, and sometimes they shoot it. Well, it happens because the concentration of things flying in the air here is just off the charts. From scrap metal to electronics. This is the result of our work today. The drone's leg is just shot through. You can see it is a 5.45 bullet. Will you fix it, and will it fly? Of course, it is 300 now. It will go to the hospital, get treated, and go back into battle.